Welcome to Crimson Guitars. I am going to share with you a tip and a trick. Luthiers tips, tricks and training from Crimson Guitars. This is something that was taught to me by a former apprentice, and I saw him doing it and I scoffed and I pointed and I said, "That's not going to be strong enough. What are you thinking, you fool?" I then was forced to eat my words. Now, what you need is masking tape and superglue, and something you need to join together. All of us know how horrible double-sided tape is. The stuff sometimes works. It will sometimes hold two pieces of wood together, a template and a neck, or sandpaper and a leveling beam, and it's fair enough. But then you try and take it off and it's not going to budge for love nor money. Or you are routing away with your templates held on with commercially available double-sided tape that you get at B&Q, etc., and the template moves and you want to hurt somebody. Now, this is a method that replaces entirely your double-sided tape. And it's awesome. It is strong and wonderful and great. So, something else is, this is one of our leveling beams that we make at Crimson Guitars. This is a 16-inch. We make a 16, a 12, and an 8-inch one currently, although I'm considering doing 24 inches as well. It's made out of 3mm thick precision extruded aluminium, which has then got a lovely sparked finish, so it's not slippery, and we hand grind them perfectly flat on a precision linishing stone. Anyhow, in the UK we struggle to find sticky backed sandpaper, self-adhesive sandpaper, in anything below 800 grit. Nobody sells it. It's just really difficult to get. And leveling beams are amazingly useful. You can use them for leveling your frets, and I prefer leveling files for that, really. But what I use them for predominantly is leveling or re-radiusing fretboards without the frets in, or getting rid of high inlays, etc. It's just amazing. They really are very useful. But we have a problem with getting our sandpaper glued in place. So what you need to do is put a strip of masking tape along the length, and there you have a strip of masking tape along one side of your leveling beam. And that's no good, is it? I'm now going to show you the rest of the trick. Some standard sandpaper, and it is not sticky backed at all. We want it to be, I'm using 320. Now, with leveling beams, I've actually got, this is my second one. It's a good thing we make them here, because I love them so much that I'm going to have at least 2 of these 16-inch long ones. Cut a piece of sandpaper to the right size, and you're sorted. Now, here comes the trick. On the back of your sandpaper, carefully, come on. Now, you don't want any air bubbles or irregularities, because then the whole thing wouldn't be flat. I'll just put some more masking tape on there. And except for that bit where there you go. Okay. So here's our leveling beam. We've got masking tape on one side, and here's our sandpaper that has masking tape on another. And they don't stick together. Of course they don't. Now, what you need next is superglue. I buy it in 50-gram bottles. In fact, I should probably resell the stuff because I use so much of it. And you can also use a superglue accelerator. This is worth Sebesto stuff. It seems to work okay. And what you need to do is dribble a line of superglue down the length of your paper. And in this case, you could put the accelerator down the other length of your beam, but you don't really need to. Oh, in this case. So there's my paper, and stretch it out, and if you want, use a roller just to laminate it. Now when you're not describing how to do this, it actually doesn't take that long, and you don't have to pay through the nose to buy sandpaper or to import sticky backed sandpaper. It also means that you can use any sandpaper that you have to hand in the workshop at any grit. Now that is absolutely perfectly glued down, and my leveling beam now has a 320 grit face. The other side, which is also precision ground, can have 180 or whatever I fancy on there. And eventually, in 6 months' time, when that is worn out, it's very, very easy to pull the sandpaper off, because while the superglue has glued the masking tape pieces together, the masking tape itself is the only thing that's holding it down to, I'll pick up the other end, the beam. And it's amazing. Now, let us go on to something a little bit more substantial. How's about a neck blank? This is one of our standard Crimson Guitars sort of Telecaster templates that we sell in the shop. I'm just going to run. Aha! There we go. I forgot to completely prepare. Get yourself some wider masking tape. And essentially, now normally I would have this piece of wood rough cut to the right size, and I'd have center lines and all sorts of stuff. But this is a demonstration. So, masking tape on both sides, one on the template, one on the piece of wood. Now, when I'm planning on using a router, I will burnish the tape down to the wood, just to make sure that there's no chance of it moving at all, because the whole point of this is, of course, strength and stability. So, there you go. Masking tape on the template, masking tape on your board, and you don't need that much superglue. I'm just doing a wavy line down the middle. Now, I do not want my superglue to go onto the wood, because then you would semi-permanently attach the pieces together. So here's my board. In the background, I'm just going to spray that with some accelerator, decide where I want to put it, and Bob is your proverbial uncle. That template is now attached. Now, the first time that I watched this, as I said, in fact the first several times, I doubted the veracity of what I was being shown. But it is amazing. Now, I've got fairly chunky hands. I've been told I have strangler's wrists, whatever that means. I am putting as much pressure as I can sideways, trying to pull my template off. There you go, you can see lines in my fingers through the dirt. Wenge, dirty stuff. I've still got lines in my fingers from where I was trying to push that. It's have a can't get a good grip on me. I'm going to go again. Try not to get a wedge splinter. There is absolutely no way. Here we go. Something else to push onto. Here's one of our leveling files. Go and buy a leveling file from Crimson Guitars. They're wonderful. That's just something to push on so the neck isn't in my way. Okay, that's my entire weight pushing down on that template, and it hasn't moved a jot. Okay, so this is stronger than your general two-sided tape stuff. But here's the best thing. Grab the end. And there's no detritus on your template. The masking tape is still glued together. Whoops. There's a bit there. Yeah, where I'd burnished it, it's stuck down a little bit. But essentially, that is sorted. What I have just showed you is, in my opinion, the greatest little trick I have ever learnt about guitar building. I use it every single day. When we're using the router table, handheld routers, CNC machine, I use it on the milling machine upstairs sometimes when I need to hold something down that's an awkward shape. It is just phenomenal. And then of course on the leveling beams, you just can't beat it. Double-sided tape is a thing of the past. The pain in your thumb when you try and squidge all the gooey mess left behind off your templates. I use this to hold fretboards down to my fret slotting template when we're using the slotting jig on the crosscut saw or the table saw. It is just useful, and from now on, every time you use it, you need to go to Crimson Guitars and spend some money. Yay. I wish that worked. But anyway, I really honestly do hope that you find it useful. You can even use it to hold sandpaper down to a bit of plate glass if you insist on using the scary sharp sharpening system to sharpen your chisels. It is just great. One of the best things about it is that masking tape is thin. And a lot of double-sided tapes are fabric-based and thick and spongy, and there's just movement there that you do not want, especially when you're routing and using it as a template. So if you would like to support us financially, I would very much appreciate that. You can go and buy a myriad of top-quality, heirloom grade, we hope, Luthiers tools and jigs, and we're even selling kit guitars and necks and things like that now as well. Go and sign up to the newsletter either in the guild section or the workshop diary section of the website, and you will get a 15% coupon